Okay, for this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make a collage, similar to what you see here, where you're able to combine a bunch of different images all on one page. So if you have an idea where you wanted to do something like that for your agenda book, then this is definitely the tutorial that you want to watch. Okay, so I already have my canvas set up. If you're not sure how to do that, then you want to go back to the very first tutorial, the Photoshop 101, and that's where I show you how to set this up and things like this. So I'm going to move pretty quickly through this in order to move on to the main part of it, which is making the collage part. Okay, so I'm going to quickly just do a black background just because I just want something there. I might decide to change it later, but for now I just want a black background so I have something there so it's not white underneath. So I already have pictures downloaded in my picture folder. I have, so that's the first step that you want to do, is have all the pictures you want to use. Mine is going to be sports related, so I have kind of a collection of pictures here that I want to use. So what I'm going to do, one kind of quick way to move them in is I'm just basically clicking and dragging. I'm going to select them all, and you can drag that right over into Photoshop and it will kind of place all of them all at once. So that's kind of a quick way to bring them in. Well, it was supposed to. Let's see if it did it. You'll have to hit the check mark, it looks like, in between. So each time each one pops up, you want to hit the check mark to accept it all. But it's bringing in all of them. It kind of helps when you download the pictures to save them as what they are. So notice over here I have wrestling, swim, soccer girls, soccer boys, ROTC, football, cheerleaders, whatever. It helps to have them already saved as that, because then your layer box will be nice and organized and you won't have to figure out like what layer is what, because your layers are going to be most important when doing this collage, because as you know from other things, you only have control over what you have selected in the layer box. So right now, if I wanted to move this picture underneath, I can't move on it until I actually click on that layer first. Okay, so what I'm going to actually do is kind of the eyeballs over here on your layer box determine visibility. So if I click on the eyeballs, it's basically hiding all of these. They're not going away like forever. They'll still be there. If I click it, it'll come back. But I'm just hiding it so that way I can work with one at a time. So I'm going to start with this kind of band picture. And normally I would be really meticulous about how I erased backgrounds, but all I want to do is kind of blend these in. So I want them to kind of blend all into one picture. So I'm going to make sure that when I do start to erase things, I do things very soft like, but I'm not going to be at all anal as far as making sure I'm directly moving along her face and so forth. Okay, so what I'm going to actually do is make this add a layer mask onto this. Layer mask allows you to be able to erase things, but then bring it back in case you make a mistake. And when you're doing things freehand like this, I find that it's easier to do a layer mask rather than your eraser tool, because a layer mask, a lot of times if you use the eraser tool and if you go too far ahead, trying to go back multiple steps ends up making you have to repeat steps over and over again. So to save time, I just add a layer mask. So I'm going to right click on this layer and I'm going to choose can I make a layer mask? Let me see. Okay, so what I really need to do, I have that layer selected. I'm going to go up to layer, and then I'm going to choose layer mask, and then I'm going to choose reveal all. Okay, all I did right now is just add this white box over here on the right of this layer. You notice my picture is still there. So now what you want to do is, for layer mask, you want to have black and white over here. So if you don't have black and white here, then you want to hit the little black and white color box there to make sure that that's what it is. So you want black on top, white on the bottom. Okay? Now, with layer mask, when you're on black, the black color will hide it. The white color will bring it back. Okay? So let me show you what I mean. So I'm on my black. I'm gonna grab my paintbrush, and I'm gonna make sure it's a nice size. This is a nice size to work with. I don't want anything too big because I don't want to like take off part of her, and I don't want anything too small because then it would just take forever. Now, on your hardness, you want to make sure that that is all the way down because you want a nice soft brush. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to paint. Now notice it's kind of hard to tell because my background is black, but what it's actually doing is removing this. So I'm just going kind of around the edges here and get it back. And let me show you what I mean. If I say, let's just say I took off too much, like, oh my gosh, her ear is gone. How do I bring her ear back? All you have to do, remember I said black hides and white will bring it back. So I'm gonna flip my colors around by hitting this little reverse arrow. Now my white is on top. And if I paint back over, voila, it's magic, it comes back. Okay, so now I can go back in and then again just make sure I'm only taking the background. Okay, so now I'm gonna come back around these edges on this side. And remember for this, I said I'm not gonna be at all too particular, like I don't even think I want all of that. So I'm just going to, with a collage, you don't want any kind of like hard edges. You want everything to look soft. All right, now to save time, I'm going to make my brush bigger so I can delete a bunch of this all at once. Okay, so now I have kind of removed some other parts of her, so that's all that's there. And I can resize it. If you don't see the controls here to resize, when you're on your move tool, you want to click the box up here where it says show transform controls, and then those will come on. Remember, you always want to hold down your shift key as you resize, otherwise you can mess up the aspect ratio of it and stretch it out. Okay, so now I have her like I want her. I'm going to move on to another picture, so I'm going to make it visible. It's really small, so I am going to increase the size a little bit. And I'm not really worrying about placement right now as much as I'm just right now cleaning up the pictures to get rid of backgrounds. So I noticed a part over here where I forgot, so I'm just going to go back. And if you noticed, I left some kind of white on the edges. So notice, even though I'm over this picture, it's not erasing this because I'm on this layer. That's why I was saying layers are important. Okay. Now, back to the basketball girl. So again, I'm going to repeat the same step. Let me zoom in. Got a nice picture here of Tamaja. So I'm going to, again, black will hide. I need to first do my layer mask, right? So I'm going to come back up to layer, layer mask, reveal all. And I'm going to, again, grab my paintbrush. And then I'm just going to start kind of taking out the background. Make this brush a little bit smaller so that way I can have a little bit more control. This whole canvas is going to be full of pictures, so that's why you don't really have to be, when making a collage like this, you don't have to be concerned with neatness as much because you're going to stack these up. So I'm just basically taking off some of this. I took off a little too much right here, so again I'm coming with my white to erase, flipping it back around. And there we go. All right, so now I have that one done. I want that one a little bit bigger than I have the band one, so I'm just gonna basically put it here for now. All right, and hit the check. All right, so then again, I'm gonna grab another one. Here's my basketball boys. Again, make it the layer mask, reveal all, and then once again. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause it for a second. When I come back on, I'm gonna have all of the backgrounds erased. You don't need to sit here and watch me do those steps over and over again. And then I'll close it out and tell you how to compile everything. Okay, I'm back and I have removed all of the background. As you see, I have layer mask on all of these layers and removed the background. Right now it just looks like a kind of hodgepodge mess as opposed to a collage. So here's where I want to start being selective in how I place things and also how I stack things, because the order in which they appear over here determines what's on top. So right now I want this basketball thing to kind of be on the top part because that's a little bit more predominant of an image. So I'm going to drag it in my layer box. All I'm doing is clicking and dragging my mouse up. And that's now on the top. Okay, so but I also want that band one. This is where I said the naming part comes in handy. I want Tashayla over here in my band uniform. I want her on top of the background layer, the basketball layer. Okay, so I'm going to bring her up there. Also, my little soccer dude over here just got lost. So that's my soccer boys. I'm going to pull him up over basketball as well. Okay, and just move him over. Okay, then I got she's good. ROTC, however, needs to be moved up in my layer. So I'm going to drag that up. And I might even resize them just a little bit because I don't need that to be quite as big. Okay, now I want my football to kind of be on top of that ROTC layer. So where's my football? Right there. I'm going to drag it so now it's over top the football. I mean the ROTC layer. Okay, got my cheerleaders over here. Ooh, can't see the wrestling people or the girls basketball. So that's something I need to work on next. All right, so wrestling is right here. Looks like it needs to be on top of the basketball layer so I can see it. So I'm going to drag it over top. Where's basketball? Oh, there it is. So now it's there. Okay, now I'm going to drag the girls basketball up above that. Ooh. Okay, maybe not. All right, I need her above band. Where is band? Band. I think it's further up. There it is on top. All right. Now I need my wrestling crew to show up again. So I think what I'm going to do is just take off a little bit more of this so that way it'll reveal my wrestling. So what you do if you have more that you need to take off, like with this, if I was to grab my paintbrush, notice it won't let me right there. I got to make sure I click on the layer mask part over here in the layer box. Now I can. So I'm just going to hide it or take off a little bit more so that way we see it. I took off a little too much. Do that part over. So I'm going to make this brush a little bit smaller. All right. It's not perfect. Like notice some of these lines here. Those are things that I would want to make sure I definitely take care of if that's something. So if I wanted to see more of that, oh, I took off too much. Make this brush a little bit bigger.